up, YouTube? I have a lot to do today, and I'm going to take you along with me. So I guess this is kind of like a vlog style. But we have this big mound of compost that we had delivered, and we have to move it into our garden beds. And so what we're going to be doing is cleaning out some of the beds, pulling out the rest of the plants, and making sure that we can move as much of this compost as possible. Because otherwise we're going to be a little late when we have to put stuff in the ground. So come along with me. And first we have to go down to the shed and get some tools, and then we will be starting to move some stuff from the raised beds. So come take a look. Have to do gardening with toddlers and young children that like to be in your space and doing the things you're doing at the exact moment that you're doing them? Yeah, I do. Okay, so let's chat for a second about the kids went inside, they're grabbing a snack and some lunch, and I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about why I'm top dressing my garden beds and why you should do it too. So last year I purchased some soil mixture, and the soil mixture, let's set you down so you can just sit there. So the soil mixture that I ordered was not the soil mixture that I received. And when I built my garden beds, I built them the way that my grandfather taught me. He had a green thumb that was like, you know, the greenest of the green. Much greener than mine. Anyway, he lived in North Carolina and had this beautiful little garden and was constantly growing things. And of course I didn't appreciate anything back then when he was alive, and now I wish he was here to be proud of me, but I know in some way, shape, or form maybe he is. So I built these beds and I put down a layer of cardboard and a layer of gravel. I do not do the hugelkultur, which is where you put a layer of like organic material like sticks and branches and things like that, which will biodegrade over time. And I didn't because these are pretty small raised beds. They're on a sterile ground that we built up last year. And we had to really kind of figure things out because COVID hit when we were doing all this, and we were like, what? We couldn't get the right boards for our beds as well. You'll notice that they're much thinner than my Slim Shady bed, which is a 2x6 or 2x8, and these are 1x6, and so they're just much 1x4s maybe. No, they're 1x6. They're just much. No, they're 1x4s. They're 1x4s. They're just much wimpier in my opinion, and the hubs and I have already talked about replacing these at some point and potentially replacing them with galvanized steel, but we are nowhere near that stage. You know, the wood is still good. We'll use the wood until it starts to rot, and then when it starts to rot, then we'll replace, because why replace something that we don't have to? So back to the beds, I put a layer of gravel, I put a layer of sand, I put a layer of regular soil, I put a layer of compost, I put some sphagnum moss in there, and then again with some raised bed soil, and just mixed it all up, and it was beautiful and nice. And that's what I did in my Slim Shady bed. But last year, because of everything, and all the new gardeners, which again is awesome, but there was a lot of supplies that we just didn't have access to, and so or that were just out at the store, like the lumber, and so we had to make some executive decisions at the time, which was a good team building experience for us, and it all worked out fine. We had a wonderful harvest last year, and this year we're hoping for an excellent one too. But I ordered my soil instead of doing my mixture, and I ordered a mixture of topsoil and compost, and what I ordered was supposed to be 75% compost, 10% topsoil, and 10% sphagnum moss and sand. And what I got was 90% topsoil, and I think the rest rocks. I honestly, like, I've never seen so many rocks being delivered, and they knew I bought it from a nursery. They knew I was doing raised beds, and I think that it just, in the course of, I'm not going to mention their name, because in the course of the beginning of all of this last year, people are allowed to make mistakes and not be held responsible for the rest of their business careers or anything. So, like, I don't know if I'll ever order from them again because I had such a bad experience, but I was able to grow, so it clearly did its job. However, I was very apprehensive about ordering from that particular company again. So instead, I ordered from a landscape company here, which ironically is right across the street from my house. Well, not right across the street, but it is close enough. I apologize for the fire trucks living in the city. So I had yards of compost delivered instead, 100% compost, and they develop, we'll just wait for the fire truck. We'll wait for you. So they actually get herbivore dung from the Smithsonian Zoo and create their compost from that. And so I was, being a Fonz member at the time, now it's no longer there, but I was really excited to be able to kind of full circle have some compost that was developed from the dung from the zoo, which is kind of cool for me. So anyway, I am top dressing, and I have top dressed all of these beds at this point. You'll see behind me, it's nice and rich and brown and black and beautiful. Well, there you go. But there are two kind of branches of thought on compost. Some believe you just top dress it, and then through the course of the rain, it comes down into the soil and actually nourishes the roots of your plant. And that's what I like to, that's why I like to top dress. The other branch of thought is that you should mix it in with your soil. And I've mixed it in with the soil in bags. And the reason I say bags is because the bags that I use for my potatoes and onions, which I don't do them in my raised beds because I have such limited real estate, but my bags sit here. I put compost in them already, and I'm going to do more. This whole thing will be lined with bags all the way over there, and there will just be potatoes and onions, and my onions came in yesterday, so hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to plant them, because I don't know if I'll have a chance today. But I will mix my soil and my compost in those bags. And because I'm going to do, and the reason I do that is, especially with my potatoes, I do the mounding up method with the potatoes. So we start 8 inches down with our spud or our seed potato, and then I build up as the plant grows. And the onions, I have already filled about 2/3 of the way, or halfway, and I'll do the other half soil, mix it all up in the wheelbarrow and redistribute. And then the onions I will, of course, plant on the top where they're supposed to be. And I mulch it all, but if I need to top dress anymore, I will. I'm going to top dress all of my beds around. I'm currently stopped because I was doing my new herb beds in the front, which I'll show you at the end, just kind of do a little walkthrough, I guess. But yeah, so that's why I top dress my raised beds, and you should too. So guys, here are the raised beds. I have garlic right there. So I'm gonna have to wait a little bit. Unless somebody can put in the comments down below, like, can I put compost on top of garlic? I gotta do some research. The garlic is really doing well, by the way. And behind the garlic, I have some white ball radish. And so these guys survived the frost, have done really well. So I'm gonna leave them here. And if you know if I can put compost on them right away, then please let me know. They've been in here since November. I planted them late, but all my beds look nice and clean and neat. All my bags, by the way, up here are for my onions and potatoes. So they're 15 gallons, and I'll fold down the ones for the potatoes because I do the mounding up method, and I'm happy to go through a video with that if you'd like. But these are all my onion and potato bags, and they stretch all the way over here, which is excellent. This is the next section I need to revamp. This strawberry tower is going elsewhere. This is my old herb tower that my kids knocked over last year, hence the new herb garden I'll show you in just a second. But the strawberry tower is going to go somewhere else. And this entire section is going to be filled with new plants that I bought. My COVID buy was blueberry plants. And they're starting to come in. I think I bought 6 blueberry plants. And I'm not putting them in this gigantic container this year. I'm starting small to make sure that I can grow them really well, because see, these are 3-year-old plants. They haven't had that much growth. It's not because of the sun. I've tracked the sun. I think it has something to do with just like maybe I didn't plant them correctly. They do give blueberries, but the birds get them because they're so tiny. So let me show you the herb garden, because it is right outside here. By the way, look how small that pile is. I probably got a good half emptied out of there, which is excellent. So here is the herb bed, my new herb bed. This is where I'm gonna have a lot of all of my rosemary, sage, calendula, some zinnias in here. This is obviously the drain. This is gonna become a rain barrel here because we get a lot of water here. This is our little rockery. My kids love to collect rocks. And we have a lot of quartz on our property, so that's that. And I just composted everything over here to give it a nice little dressing, but I have to go through and clean up the brick. And then I'm gonna sink these bricks in. We're gonna put little flower pots here for some roses that I have that I wanna climb up this beautiful trellis and have just these really beautiful, like Joseph Coat climbing roses. So this is the other side, and this will also have cilantro and basil and a variety of others. These are my kitchen herb gardens here in the front. I think that'll be really pretty. And then back here I'll have more zinnias. I have some pretty like watermelon zinnias, the green and the pink ones. I've shown you in a previous video. And I'm also gonna plant some more calendula here, because then if you look like this, this azalea, which we didn't know we had until we dug this place out, has slowly been coming back. And so I surrounded it with gladiolus, cut back obviously the Rose of Sharon. Here's our apple tree, and we planted that with tulips that hopefully will come up this year. And then I'm going to top dress this whole side with compost tomorrow and see where we go from there. So that, my friends, is my day. It has been so long and so hard, and one of the things that I haven't shared about myself is I'm an archaeologist, and so I'm a professional dirt mover. We'll learn to use a wheelbarrow within the first hour of being on a field site, or on a dig site. So because you're just moving the dirt that they've dug, that archaeologists have dug out to the massive pile. So that's what I did. That's what I trained in for college. What'd you train in? But if you are moving lots of dirt, or if you're putting compost or any type of top dress or mulch, if you just mulch, make sure that you bend your knees, lift with your knees and your legs, let the legs do the hard work. Don't bend with your back and pick it up. So many people like bend over, and you just can't do that. I time-lapsed some of the videos so you could see like I bend my knees every time, but the kids got in the way, and I'm pretty sure like every moment they got hit with the shovel, and I'm like, you can't stand in front of mommy, but kids will stand in front of their mother because that's where they want to be, and they want to help, and I want them to be a part of it because they're so excited to get out here and do it, and I have to let them do it, even though takes forever, or it may not work the way I want it to. So if any of you guys are getting ready to get your garden going and you haven't gone out there and turned your soil or put some amendments in, or if you didn't even know you had to, that's okay. There's plenty of time left. Our last frost date isn't till April 19th. And honestly, you don't have to do it. Mother Nature just does fine without me. So inside I have to take care of the seedlings, but when I put them out here, she's got to take over. So at some point you just got to let go and let nature take its course. So don't get discouraged if last year your garden didn't grow the way you wanted it to. You learned something from it and you moved on, and try again this year. Maybe everything will work great, maybe it won't. Maybe you and I will both fail and we'll talk about it over a glass of wine. But anyway, friends, thank you so much for joining me today and letting me take you along my super hard day of work. And I will see you next time. Bye.